Well, on what should have been the night of the second presidential debate, instead, the candidates answered questions directly from voters, dueling cities and in separate cities during dueling town halls.
I have to be out there. I also know.
Well, there's no one that says you can't be out there, but it's just about wearing masks and having, for example, your rallies.
I know this.
Your rallies don't require masks.
No, I mean, let's see Kamala. She's got people now that people have it, and I'm not blaming her. I'm not saying, oh, she did a terrible thing.
The words of a president matter.
Absolutely.
No matter whether they're good, bad, or indifferent, they matter. And when a president doesn't wear a mask or makes fun of folks like me when I was wearing a mask for a long time, then, people say, well, it mustn't be that important.
And political insider Armstrong Williams joins us now. So masks, just one of the issues that came up last night. The president also defended his handling of the coronavirus and about being $400 million in debt. And Joe Biden criticized President Trump's response to the pandemic, and he refused to say if he would add more justices to the Supreme Court. So 18 million voters, Armstrong, have already cast their ballots. Did any of what we heard last night move the needle for those still undecided voters?
Well, let me say this. The president was healthy last night. It was really refreshing to see. He was on fire. He was alert. There were absolutely no signs of the COVID-19. I think that's very encouraging that the president, on one hand, contracted the virus, and then he comes out of the hospital and he said, don't give power to COVID. While it's real and serious, wear the mask if you want to wear the mask. But it's not the end and the beginning. I think the president expressed the sentiment of Americans who feel they should wear the mask on certain occasions in restaurants and where it's mandated. But on the outside, you just got to use common sense, because I think sometimes the masks are a little suffocated. And I think the president was right about his $430 million. That may be a lot of money to most people, but when you're running $1 billion operation, it's really not a lot of money. It pales into comparison. I think Biden did answer the question about packing the Supreme Court. He said you get into this tit for tat if you go down that road, but he did say the Constitution doesn't allow for term limits for Supreme Court justices. And obviously, they're worlds apart. And the other interesting thing about President Trump with Guthrie last night is that he never really mentioned Biden. When Biden would come up, he would turn it back to the media. He really did not take the opportunity to pound Biden like he did in the first presidential debate, which I found very interesting. And, it's interesting because if you looked in the background, a lot of the voters were just nodding their heads, sort of amen. And so it's as if NBC tried to make up for the fiasco they got criticized for early in the year early in the week, when they clearly showed bias toward Biden. It's as if they went out of the way to create an environment where the president would relax, where he felt he would not be attacked, and he was shown respect. And I think when the president is shown respect, you get better responses out of him. He's more civil and he's more diplomatic. He did not talk over. I thought it was encouraging. Well, it moves the needle or not, Melanie, I don't think for anybody it's going to really move the needle. I think next week, NBC the debate, which I think is next Thursday, I think that's the pivotal one because that's the last one, and we'll see where it goes.
All right, let's move to the Supreme Court now. And Judge Amy Coney Barrett, she survived a grilling from the Senate this week. How do you think she handled herself when asked tough questions, especially on those hot button issues, abortion and the Affordable Care Act?
Listen, Melanie, I don't think she was asked any tough questions. I think she was asked questions that she was quite familiar with. She's been dealing with these questions ever since she's become a judge, and I think she was more prepared to answer these questions. She was very calm. She was unflappable. She was a diplomat, but she was also tough. She made sure the senators did not try to define her, trying to say what she wasn't for civil rights or voting rights, and it had nothing to do with the case. I think she was very clear and very forthright about that. I think what said it all, Melanie, I don't know if you saw this image at the end of the hearings when Senator Dianne Feinstein got up. This 87-year-old woman gets up. She gives Senator Lindsey Graham, chairman of the Senate Judiciary Committee, a bear hug and said, this is the finest process I've ever been a part of. I think it went on to show not only her respect for her colleague, they've known each other a long time, but the fact of how they really felt about Judge Barrett. They don't really want to vote against her. I don't think none of them really do. If you listen to the clip from Cory Booker, even if you listen to Senator Durbin, and even Senator Kamala Harris, they have to do it because it's politics. Deep down, they know that this is no Judge Kavanaugh. It's not like any kind of jurist in the past. She's well qualified. When you look at her 7 kids in the background, one from Haiti, and then has a kid who has Down syndrome. It's really the American story. She answered the question. She's very knowledgeable. She could not make commitments because she may face those cases in the future, and so it's very hard to criticize her. Obviously, they're going to vote next Thursday out of committee. She will be confirmed by October the 26th. It's a foregone conclusion. But of any process, it was not cantankerous. It was not hostile. Both sides behaved themselves very well. And I think that is a process, especially in these chaotic times we find ourselves, that all Americans just say, oh, finally, we can be civil and respectful towards each other in this process.
Yeah, we need more of that for sure. Another busy week in Washington. Thank you so much, Armstrong Williams. And you can watch the Armstrong Williams Show every Saturday morning at 10:30 right here on WJLA 24/7 News.